going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today's video, we have the brand new Everglow tree boss battle, and this boss is a little bit different compared to all the bosses that we fought in previous events. The reason why this boss is completely different is because instead of you doing damage to the boss, you're basically trying to heal your team the most. I'm going to explain further in this video, but before I get started on the video, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and also turn on post notification bells so that you guys can always stay tuned as I post new videos. I'd really appreciate it. And if you guys are new here on the channel, I have a Discord server, so guys are interested, you can join the server by going to my channel description. You see the server link there, and I'll also post a server link in the comment section down below. But anyways, let's not waste any time. Let's head right on to the video. So what I mean by this boss is different is that if we head on over to the Gusting Secret Tome event, we basically have the boss right here. So once you complete the story, you can basically unlock this boss battle. So I click the boss right here, and you guys can basically see that instead of you doing damage against this boss, you have current max recovery instead. So the reason why this boss is completely different is because instead of you focusing on doing damage against this boss, you're basically trying to heal your team the most. Basically, you have to heal your team, and your performance is based off of how much recovery, HP recovery you provided to your team. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple teams that I use. Now, I'll say you mainly want to use healers. So for my first attempt, this was my first attempt because I was trying to see, test and see what this boss was all about. And then I was like, my Joaquin did a lot of damage, but I don't understand how, it just says 20 million recovery. So I'm like, there's something up here. There's something weird about this boss, because it seems like damage, my performance isn't based off of my damage. It's basically based off of how much HP recovery I can provide to my team. So for my second attempt, I changed the team a little bit, and I put in Lae'zel, I put in Rachel, Joaquin, Gusting, and Blanc. And I was like, it seems like this boss, you have to focus on HP recovery instead of damage. So for my second attempt, that's when I realized that this boss, you're not trying to do damage against this boss, you're trying to provide HP recovery, and that's pretty much it. So the best character for this boss is pretty much Gusting. Gusting, look at his healing, 341 million healing is absolutely insane. So Gusting is definitely the key component for this boss. Lae'zel, the reason why I put Lae'zel is because Lae'zel can pretty much, okay, if we look at the boss right here, and if we look at the boss's ultimate, the special move, the Everglow tree makes the sock puppet grunt on the battlefield invincible for 1 second. So basically, this Everglow tree will basically spawn in a couple puppets, and you're basically doing damage against the puppets. In addition, 2 enemies with low HP percentages are afflicted with the Administrator Mark. The Administrator's Mark is removed after 10 seconds, causing a snowball to land on the target. Targets hit by snowballs are stunned and have their defense decrease by 99.9% for 10 seconds. That is a huge defense shred. So the reason why you want to use Gusting and Lae'zel is because Lae'zel, if we look at Lae'zel's special move, Lae'zel creates a Shinsu Whirlpool, and that knocks back enemies and removes debuffs and status effects from her allies. So she can basically cleanse your team, who's basically when she casts her special move, she's going to have an AoE field, and if your team is inside that AoE field, she will basically remove debuffs. And if we look at Gusting's special move, that Gusting heals all allies by 400% of his attack and removes all debuffs. So you basically want to use these two characters. These two characters are extremely important because they can basically remove that defense shred that they can, the Everglow can basically apply on your team, because that 99.9% defense shred is really, it's devastating. So you definitely want to use units that can basically get rid of that defense shred and also that stun as well. So that's the reason why I'm using Lae'zel and Gusting, so that they can basically get rid of that defense shred. Now, for my last attempt, this was basically the team that I'm using. So the reason why I'm using Bomb is because Bomb, he's basically going to recover Gusting's energy so that Gusting can basically spam his special skill so that he can continuously heal my team and also provide that AoE cleanse. And he can pretty much do the same for almost every single character. Now, the reason why I'm using Gia is because Gia she has good healing as well. You basically want to use units that can provide good healing, basically HP recovery. Blanc, she's basically on this team because she can also provide some HP as well. As you guys can see, she can also provide energy. So overall, against this boss, you basically want to use units that recover HP. That's literally all you have to do against this boss. So I'm going to go ahead and replay this attempt for you guys. Now, for Rachel, I feel like Rachel, she's also a pretty good unit in this team because Rachel, she can also apply HP recovery and she can do some decent damage as well. So she can basically get rid of these puppets, and then on top of that, when she gets rid of these puppets, she can basically heal your allies. You don't want to use units like Joaquin because Joaquin, he doesn't have any HP recovery, so you don't want to use him. You basically don't want to use units that don't have HP recovery because you're basically not going to do anything against this boss. You really want to use units that can basically recover your HP, and that's pretty much it. So another thing that I want to talk about is the Everglow tree's passive. So once you reach, if I scroll down, it says after tier 20, each new tier makes the sock puppets behave more unruly and decreases the Everglow tree's HP recovery further. So basically after you reach tier 20, you're going to have the Everglow tree is basically going to have an HP recovery debuff, and it's going to be hard for the Everglow tree to basically increase its HP recovery. So that's pretty much its passive. And yeah, this boss, this is a really unique boss overall because out of all the event bosses we've had so far, those bosses, like, we mainly had to focus on doing as much damage as much as possible. But this time for this boss, you're basically healing your team. Like, that's all you have to do. You just have to heal your team. And yeah, that's basically how your performance is scaled, off of HP recovery, and that's pretty much it. Because if we look at the rankings and if we look at like the #1 spot, look at this guy's team. He's using a Lozelle, he's using Gusting, he's using Evan. Basically, he's using units that recover HP. That's literally all you have to do, because 585 billion healing, that's insane. So that's pretty much how this boss works. Now I'm going to go ahead and replay this for you guys, so you guys can basically see how the HP recovery works. And damage is basically, I wouldn't say damage is useless, but you only need to deal damage against the puppets so that you can get rid of the puppets, and that's pretty much it. So as you guys can see, we're doing damage, like we're basically doing damage, but this bar up here, like basically, you know, we always look at this bar to see how much damage we're doing against the boss. The bar isn't going up because we're not providing HP recovery. Now as soon as we cast our special skills for the HP recovery, look at the bar, look at that, you see? So Gia, she was able to provide that 5,000 healing. She did a single target healing, and she did it to the Everglow tree. Instead of her healing one of our allies, she healed the Everglow tree. So basically, you're basically trying to heal up the Everglow tree and also your allies as well. So the fact that the Everglow tree is inside of Lozelle's field, the Everglow tree is also receiving an HP recovery. And after I read, like, you guys remember the passive, the Everglow tree's passive, after it reaches tier 20, the HP recovery will decrease. So after you reach tier 20, it's going to be harder to increase the Everglow tree's HP, basically increases its HP. So you have to keep that into consideration. But basically, you're mostly focusing on healing your team so that they can stay alive, and you're also focusing on healing the Everglow tree. That's literally what this boss battle is all about. Healing up the Everglow tree as much as possible and also healing your team. So look at that healing. You see that the tree is receiving the healing as well. The puppets are not healing the tree, you're basically healing up the tree. And Blanc, the reason why Blanc is really good is because Blanc, you see that huge field right there? That's basically Blanc's HP recovery field. So Blanc is really good against this boss as well. And you guys can basically see that stun on Blanc right there. You see the stun. Now as soon as we use Gusting's AoE cleanse, then Blanc, the stun will go away. So look at all that damage that Blanc is receiving. That's the main reason why you definitely want to use Gusting and Lozelle, so that they can basically remove that defense shred and also the stun as well, the 2-second stun. So you basically want to use units that have AoE HP recovery, and you can also use units that have single target healing, but you mostly want to use units like Lozelle, Blanc, Gusting, because they basically have AoE HP recovery. So you can basically heal your team, and you can also heal the tree as well, because you want to stay alive, because the puppets can do some really good damage. So you definitely want to focus on healing your team and also healing up the tree as well. So that's the main reason why HP recovery, AoE HP recovery, is way better than single target healing. And Bomb, like I said, Bomb is in the team so that he can basically recover the energy of all of your allies, so that they can basically continuously spam their special skill and heal up the tree. So that's pretty much the boss. Ignore this right there when it says total damage. Ignore that, because you're not really doing damage against the boss. You're mostly trying to heal up the boss. That's pretty much the whole point of this boss battle. Now, if you guys want a better explanation, you can click this button up here, and they basically explain that for this event boss, it says this event boss battle is a healing boss battle. They literally, you know, they put this in blue highlights to basically tell you guys that this boss is completely different from all the bosses we faced before. Use HP recovery skills on the boss to fill the recovery gouge. In addition, special moves and active skills that heal allies will always target the boss. So if you have a unit like Gia, who's basically going to use her single target healing, don't worry, she's also going to heal the boss as well. She's going to heal your allies and also heal up the boss. And it says exceptions: recovery skills that heal the user or their summoned beings, recovery skills that are triggered while stationary. So if you have a unit that's mostly focusing on healing summoned beings, because out of all the units we have in the game, Gusting is by far the only unit that has summon. He can basically summon additional creatures on the battlefield that have their own HP. So he's not an exception, but like it says recovery skills that heal the user or their summoned beings, that's pretty much an exception. So that's pretty much how this boss battle works. It's pretty simple. Use healers. Don't use DPS characters. DPS characters, they're completely useless in this boss battle, because you're not doing damage against the boss. You're trying to heal up the boss. So yeah, the fact that we made it to top 37% is actually pretty good. At first, for like my first attempt, I was really confused. I was like, wait, hold up. Why is my Joaquin damage not doing anything? And then I realized, I was like, oh, you're healing up the boss instead of doing damage against it. So yeah, pretty much this boss is completely different from all the bosses we faced before in previous events. This boss is completely different because you're focusing on healing up this boss. So basically, use your healers, and you also to use a battery unit like Bomb, who can basically recover their energy so that they can basically spam their special skills, that they can continuously heal up the Everglow tree. So overall, it's not a really hard boss to go up against, because all you're doing is using healers, and the puppets, they don't do that much damage. As long as you have allies that have that AoE HP recovery, you'll be fine. So that's pretty much the Everglow tree boss. Overall, I feel like this boss, it's unique, it's different. I'm glad that they're doing something a little bit different this time, because continuously doing damage against a boss, you know, every single event is kind of, you know, tedious and annoying. So the fact that they're doing something a little bit different this time, and they're making us heal up the boss this time, like basically your performance is based off of how many times you healed up the boss. That's actually pretty cool. So overall, I like this boss. It's a pretty unique boss overall. But anyways, that'll be it for this video. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and put your thoughts down below in the comment section of what you guys think overall. I appreciate y'all for watching this video, and I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.